Good morning, students. Let's continue with the chapter Plant Growth and Mineral Nutrition. Let's begin with the first topic for the day, that is photoperiodism. The plants, in order to flower, require a certain day length, that is, the relative length of day and night, which is called as photoperiod. The response of plants to the photoperiod, expressed in the form of flowering, is called as photoperiodism. Thus, photoperiodism can be defined as physiological response of the plant to relative lengths of daylight and darkness. Plants can be divided into three groups based on photoperiodism: long day plants, short day plants, and day neutral plants. Let us first understand what are long day plants. Long day plants flower when the day length is longer than a certain critical period. Here, critical period means the length of photoperiod above or below in which flowering will occur. Under photoperiods shorter than the critical point, these plants will not flower. Thus, these plants are also called as short night plants. Let us now see what are short day plants. Short day plants flower when day length is shorter than a certain critical period. Under photoperiod longer than a critical point, these plants will not flower. These plants require long, uninterrupted dark period. Hence, they are also called long night plants. Let us now move on to day neutral plants. Plants whose flowering is unaffected by the lengths of light and dark are called as day neutral plants. These plants have long flowering seasons. Let's move on to the next topic, that is vernalization. It is a process in which flowering is promoted by a cold treatment given either to seeds or fully grown plant. Plants that require vernalization show delayed flowering or even remain vegetative or show stunted growth if they are not exposed to cold treatment during germination. The vernalization temperature is just below 0 to 10 degrees Celsius, but the most effective and precise temperature range is 1 to 7 degrees Celsius depending upon the species. The next topic is mineral salt absorption. Mineral salts are absorbed from the soil solution in the form of ions. They are chiefly absorbed through the meristematic regions of the root near the tips. We will study two ways of absorption: passive absorption and active absorption. Let us now understand what is passive absorption of mineral salts. When the concentration of mineral salts is higher in the outer region than in the cell sap of the root cells, The mineral salts are absorbed according to the concentration gradient by the simple process called diffusion. This is called passive absorption. In this process, there is no expenditure of energy required. Donan equilibrium. This is also one kind of passive absorption. Here, two solutions containing ions are separated by a semi-permeable membrane. The ions move across the semi-permeable membrane in order to attain equilibrium. Thus, equilibrium is established by the movement of ions from one solution to other. Let us now move on to the next topic, active absorption. Active absorption requires energy as it occurs against concentration gradient. Certain minerals from the soil enter the cell walls of the root. These minerals then travel to the cortex cell of the root. As you can see in the picture, the minerals are being absorbed by root hairs, then they are moving to cortex cells. From cortex cells, they are traveling up to xylem vessels, and from xylem vessels, they will be reaching to each and every part of the plant.